Rainwater harvesting. There are two main models of rainwater harvesting in India. That is rural model, urban model. Here you can see the differences. First one is catchment area. In rural area, for remote area, we are getting the catchment area where rainfall and the draining of the rivers we can see, that is the catchment area. Then through the rivers or rivulets, the water is flowing down the hill, and over here in the urban area, that is roof water harvesting, the catchment area is at the roof where the rainfall is taking place, and it is getting drained out by the delivery system of the conduits, that is the pipe, and then it is getting stored in the tank over here, whereas in the rural area it is blocked by the catchment areas, check dams on the way, and it is getting uh, percolated in the water table, or it is getting collected in the lakes. Rainwater harvesting is the collection and storage of runoff rainwater from rooftops, parks, roads, open grounds, etc. by constructing dug wells, percolation pits, check dams, tanks, ponds, barriers, trench for future uses. Rainwater can be harvested by directly from rooftops and stored in tanks. Monsoon runoff and water in swollen streams during the monsoon and storing it in underground tanks. Water from flooded rivers can be stored in small ponds. Collection and transfer of rainwater into percolation tanks so as to facilitate discharge into the ground. These four steps we have to follow. Next one, rainwater. Rainwater gets collected in the rooftop, then it is delivered through the pipe to the tanks, and from there it is sent to the ground water table where it is getting filtered. Same way, surface runoff is getting directly collected into the groundwater recharge wells. Now, rainwater harvesting method in situ and ex situ. In situ is surface soil water storage over there. Ex situ subsurface soil like pond and dam is formed, and then this surface soil is used for siltation. If it is there, then it is helpful for crop production, and otherwise if it is remote areas, then natural vegetation. Whereas ex situ, that is the subsurface soil, groundwater, etc., that is also good for irrigation, that is helps in crop production, at the same time livestock and agriculture development. Now, man-made, what man is preparing, that is the pond, dam, tank, cistern, that is used for domestic and commercial and public purposes. In each and every case, whether it is forestry or crop production, livestock, agricultural development, domestic, commercial, public access, over there, water is used in all the sectors. Objectives of rainwater harvesting: to meet the increasing demand of water, reduce surface runoff, that is rural and urban flooding, to recharge and improve the quality and quantity of groundwater through dilution of contaminants like fluoride and nitrates, to recharge local aquifers, groundwater table, prevent soil erosion and flooding, arrest saltwater intrusion in coastal areas by recharging aquifers. It is called irrigation, to prevent water wastage by arresting runoff. Rainwater harvesting techniques. The main techniques of rainwater harvesting are harvesting through watershed management like lakes, tanks, wells, requirement, knowledge of the simple and cheap techniques. It is mainly the traditional techniques, methods which can be used for rainwater harvesting, recharge through hand pumps, construction of percolation pits, digging and refilling dug wells and trenches, building check dams on small rivers and streams, roof water to be collected in tanks below the ground, on rooftops, bunds and stop dams on small streams. Whenever the rainwater harvesting is taking place, we generally in the village area we build up the check dams, or it is also called iri. Then we collect the water through the sand filter reaches the well, or if it is rooftop collection, we recharge the service well. Advantages of rainwater harvesting: it meets the increasing demand of water, reduces surface runoff, that is rural and urban flooding, recharges local aquifers, that is groundwater table, recharge and improve quality of groundwater through dilution of contaminants like chloride and nitrates, prevent soil erosion, added soil salt water intrusion in coastal areas by recharging aquifers. It is a simple technique, cost effective of collecting and storing rainwater. Mainly, it is if it is traditional, then it is much more cost effective using the local material. Can be used in dry season, supplement household requirements of water during dry season, especially in the urban area. Eco-friendly, reduce groundwater pollution, prevents water wastage by arresting runoff. It is a flexible technology. In the northeastern part of India, wherever or Andaman Nicobar Islands, wherever they use the bamboo for check dams and all, after some years when it is getting rotten, they again on the course of the river again somewhere they build up the check dams, and this way it keeps on going. The construction, operation, and maintenance is not labor intensive in most of the systems. Disadvantages: maintenance costs may add to the monetary burden for villagers as well as big societies. If not maintained properly, then it can cause various problems in terms of algal and bacterial growth. Tanks, if not constructed properly, might result in leakages, and metal tanks may corrode and result in various kinds of health issues, especially the fluorides, chlorides, and all. If, as it is rainwater or rainfall dependent, hence, if there are less rainfall in the area, it may not be very effective, especially in the years when the droughts carried on. Rural model rainwater harvesting. Rural areas generally use traditional methods of rainwater harvesting. Main aim of it is to facilitate irrigation to agriculture and use of water for domestic and drinking purposes and to recharge groundwater levels. Many of the traditional structures include tanks or tankas, nadis, talaus, bhavdis, raparts, quays, birdas, ponds, khadins, johats. Here we have seen in the Raigad fort of Maharashtra, it has 11 such tanks of water harvesting along the course of the slope. Part system in western Rajasthan, or the temple pond in Kuddalur, Tamil Nadu, or Surangan in Western Ghats. These are actually Surang, that is the cave is in that cave is formed below the ground through the hard rocks, and there the water gets percolated from impervious rocks, and also from the water runoff or surface runoff which gets collected in the area below the ground, and that is used in the dry season. Here we can see the check dams along the slope of the this thing water flow, or the water is getting collected from highland area to the pond over here, that is in Eastern Ghats. Traditional water conservation methods in India: bamboo drip irrigation in Meghalaya, Zabo in Nagaland, Ahed pines in Bihar, Pool, Jammu Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh, then Johars in Rajasthan, and then Kundis in Rajasthan, then Biddas in Gujarat, and Surangam, Kerala, Karnataka along the Western Ghats, the southern extension of Western Ghat, Eri in Tamil Nadu. Traditional rainwater harvesting system in India. Why is it important? The basic concept underlying all traditional water conservation techniques is that rain should be harvested whenever and wherever it falls. Archaeological evidence shows that the practice of water conservation is deep rooted in the science of ancient India, depending on the local geography. With erratic, uneven monsoonal rainfall patterns, the Indian government has started to revive the traditional system of water harvesting in the country, as a bad monsoon season can wreak havoc in the national economy. These methods are simple, easy to build, cheap, cost effective, efficient, eco friendly. Rapid urbanization and water pollution are putting enormous pressure on the quantity and quality of surface and groundwater. Hence, traditional rainwater harvesting is the answer of supporting the huge population of India. Enormous concretization in the urban area that and existing water management practices causes more damages to water resources. Hence, we are looking for traditional rainwater harvesting. Some unique water conservation systems prevalent in India. Jhalaras, that is in Rajasthan, they are typically rectangular shape, steps well, you can see the steps over here in this picture, that have tiered steps on 3 or 4 sides. Talao. Every major city, especially in North India, we have talao. Talao is the reservoir where rainwater gets collected from highland region to lowland region, and it is used for domestic purposes and sometimes for small farms also. Bawari, that is in Rajasthan, a little rain that the region receives is diverted to artificial tanks. Here, this artificial tank deep below we can see. This is known as Chand Bauri in Rajasthan. Through canals built on the hilly outskirts of cities, the water percolates into the ground, raising the water table and recharging a deep and intricate network of aquifers. Ahar pines in Bihar. Floodwater harvesting system in South Bihar. Ahars are reservoirs with embankments on 3 sides that are built at the end of diversion channels like pines. Here we can see the diversion channel, that is pine, and over here the main channel, that is also embankment has been built up to control the flow of the water, and over here also we are having another embankment. Pines are artificial rivulets laid off from rivers to collect water in the air for irrigation in the dry months. Johars in Odisha. They are small earthen check dams that capture and store rainwater, constructed in an area with naturally high elevation on three sides. Here we can see the elevations behind at the background, and this side, this particular dam has been built up with naturally high elevation on three sides. A storage pit is made by excavating the area that is man-made, and excavated soil is used to create a wall on the fourth side. This excavated soil, which is used for the embankment, is called mud embankment, or you can say that it is not concrete at all, just created with the local people with the local material. Here they can see the water is getting collected in the johar, that is the pond-like structure, and it is other side which is facing towards the opposite direction. It is having the embankment. Bowl is secular structure for which everyone could draw water. Here we can see the Bauri with the Gurdwara. Then Bhandara Phar, that is in the Tapi Basin, for a community managed irrigation system. You can see over here, probably came into existence a few centuries ago. The Phar system is operated on three rivers in the Tapi Basin. You can see the Phars over there. Behind the Phar, you are getting the collected water. Another one is tanka or tank. It is the Indian traditional rainwater harvesting technique. Water from higher ground gets flow into this tank and get collected in the underground. To prevent evaporation, it is concretized on top, and there is one outlet which is the opening to draw out water from the well. Zincs in Ladakh. These are small tanks that collect melting water, that is glacier water. A network of guiding channels brings water from the glacier to the tank. From the glacier, it is bringing and collecting in the tank. Over here, we can see the glaciated tanks coming, it is bringing the channelizing the water from glaciated areas and bringing it to the tank and irrigating the area in the lower reach in Leh or Ladakh. Zavo in Nagaland. The Zavo, that is the meaning, is impounding runoff, which is blocked system. It is a contour bunding, actually type of contour bunding system combines water conservation with forestry, agriculture, and animal care. Here, the water is getting collected in the upper region. When it is getting filled up, then it gets overflow and flows down the hills to the lower region. So first we are getting the collection of water, and then the water is used in the lower reach for pastoral farming and agricultural purposes also. Khadin Dhora in Jaisalmer. Khadins are designed to harvest surface runoff from highland to lowland area for agriculture. It is a long earthen embankment that is built across gravelled hilly slopes. You can see the water is getting collected in the Khadin, and this is the Khadin Bandh, or you can say embankment, that is earthen embankment, and this water, when it seeps into the ground, it reaches the groundwater, recharges the groundwater, so they can again take out the water or whenever they want from the dug well over here. Bamboo drip irrigation in northeast India, especially in Meghalaya, this is an indigenous method which has been in practice for about 200 years in the northeastern states of India. While this practice helps conserve the region's water resources, it also helps in irrigation of local farms and fields. People use bamboo pipes for tapping the waters of streams and springs. It is totally eco-friendly structure. Part system, that is Jabua in Madhya Pradesh. It's a kind of embankment. In the PAT system, the peculiarities of the terrain are used to divert water from hill streams into irrigation channels. ED in Tamil Nadu, one of the oldest water management system in India. Utility flood control, prevent soil erosion, wastage of runoff, recharge groundwater. Then iris can either be river water fed by channels or rain fed. Yeah, two things we are seeing. This is the Erie Lake, that is, and another one is also Erie Lake, but one is for river water and one is for rain fed. Rain fed, the surrounding areas are higher where from where the water is getting collected in the lower ground. Pools. Pools are surface water channels found in mountainous regions of Himalaya, that is in Himachal Pradesh. The channels carry glaciated water from rivers and streams into the field. From highland region, it is flowing down the hill. Jack whales, especially in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, the Shompen tribe of Great Andaman Nicobar Islands lives in a region of rugged topography that they make full use of to harvest water. Now, in this system, the low-lying region of the island, that is Nicobar Island, is covered with jack wells, pits encircled by bunds. You can see the pit encircled by the bunds, and that bund is made of what? Logs and hardwood. So, flowing water is getting diverted again, but before that, it is getting collected beyond it, that is in the wells or pits, and then extra water is flowing down. Urban model of rainwater harvesting. Rooftop rainwater harvesting. Here the components are catchment area as I shown earlier, then transportation down the downwards through the pipes, it is taken down, then filters, first flush device, that is in filtering in the this area in the lower region. Then it can be using leaf, grit filter or sand gravel filter, charcoal filter, PVC pipe filter or sponge filter. And then the filtered water is stored in the tank or well. Each tank should have excess water overflow system. When it is getting overflowed, then that should not overflow the roads and all, which could be diverted to recharge system again, other recharge system. Then water from storage tank can be used for domestic and gardening purpose. It is most cost effective way of rainwater harvesting in the urban areas. Now what is percolation tank? Percolation tanks or surface tanks which can be built in big compasses where land is available and topography is suitable, from highland area in the surrounding area to the central lowland areas. Surface runoff and rooftop water can be diverted to these tanks. Water accumulation in the tank percolates in the soil as there is no concretized material, so the water generally get percolated, infiltrated through the pervious rocks to the groundwater level and reaches the groundwater. The stored water then can be used directly for gardening or agriculture if it is big enough. Collecting rainwater from rooftop is known as roof water harvesting. The water can be stored for future use, used to recharge groundwater. Rainwater harvesting theme park in the urban areas has been initiated and constructed by Bangalore Water Supply Board. In Rajasthan, rainwater harvesting has traditionally been practiced by the people of the third desert. At present in Pune, Maharashtra, rainwater harvesting is compulsory for any new housing society to be registered. Next one, the Mumbai City Council is planning to make rainwater harvesting mandatory for large societies. Components of urban rainwater harvesting models, storage tanks, pipe systems which carry water from rooftop to the lower reach, rainwater harvesting, rainwater collected on rooftop, directed to a storage area, reaches the groundwater level, water is used later. You can see this one also. Modern irrigation system to conserve water, especially arid and semi-arid region. It is really fruitful. These are sprinkler and drip irrigation. Advantage of this kind of irrigation is minimum loss of water due to seepage or evaporation, then greater yield and reduces the chances of weeds. National water policy, creation of national water grid, water quality and quantity conservation, reduce water pollution, reduce surface runoff and riverbed silting, recharging of groundwater, provide water to deficit areas, providing drinking water, limit and regulate the exploitation of groundwater, watershed management, interbasin water transfer, groundwater management, recycle and reuse of water, public involvement and capacity building to enable the rural population to conserve water for drinking, irrigation, fisheries, afforestation, general employment opportunities.